prepared for that.
Yeah. Something that I find with my friends and sometimes family members and people who don't know me, but they see me like holding my phone this close,
Yeah.
will ask like, how in the world do you see? You say you have low vision. What does that mean? How do you see? And I break it down. One, it's the grace of God because
Right.
the way that He put our bodies together as humans, He created us in such a way that if you have a disability, something like a vision impairment, your brain doesn't even recognize it after a while because you've adapted to it and you've learned to use certain tips and tricks. Like when I'm at a restaurant, before I even get there, I've Googled the menu. If I get
Yes.
there,
Yes.
and if I get there and I can't see it, I ask a friend or like the cashier. Another thing that I do when it comes to like traveling or like at my university, we would have a transit bus that would go around campus because it was kind of big. I would talk to the driver like, hey, this is my first time. Could you let me know when you get to such and such a stop? And
I
through
do that
doing
all
that,
the time.
yeah, and it forces you to be not only a good self advocate, but it forces you to learn routes the best way you can. And I've been in situations where I've told the pizza guy how to get where, get to me because I've mapped it out and I've done it so many times. Could you talk about how having albinism has helped you become a self advocate?
So for me, with having albinism, I've learned that there are times where you're going to have to advocate for yourself, right? So kind of
Mhm.
like you stated, there are going to be times where you'll tell someone, "Hey, I can't read this. Can you read this for me?" Or same thing you mentioned with the bus example. I've did that all the time. I'll get on the bus and I'll say, "Hey, my stop is 125th Street. Can you let me know when we get there?" And then the bus driver will actually announce over the speaker, "Hey, we're approaching 125th Street." So it definitely almost forces you to have to advocate for yourself because you're going to be in circumstances where you can't do something alone, whether it be your vision or whatever the case, and you have to ask somebody else to do this for you. Rather it be asking for somebody for a ride because you can't drive a car, or asking
Mhm.
someone to read something because your vision isn't good enough, or even things related with your skin. Being that we have no melanin in our skin and we might get burnt when we go outside. There are times where I might ask somebody to go get something for me from the store or something like that because I know it's just way too hot. So
Mhm.
I'll even give you one in terms of parenting. There's so many times where we want to take our daughter to the park, but it's 91 degrees outside. So I'll ask my wife, like, "Hey, babe, can you take Jade to the park because it's really hot, and I'm going to burn." So having albinism is definitely going to force you to be a self advocate if you're not already. And there's nothing wrong with that. The biggest thing I'll say is do not be afraid to ask for help anytime that you need it.